This former NBA player went from sharing a locker room with LeBron James and making about $16 million in career earnings to being reportedly homeless, broke, and even a drug addict. Delonte West, who was once shockingly rumored to be hooking up with LeBron's mom, saw his life plummet from a peak where he was making $4 million a year to being found on the side of the road, looking like this.
I'm out to lead all the gang.
This is the rise and fall of Delonte West. Born in Prince George's County in Maryland, Delonte West moved around a lot and changed multiple schools, most significantly highlighting how his red hair and pale skin made him an easy target of bullying. Delonte injured his leg in 8th grade and was sent to live with his father, where he reportedly started engaging in self-harm, swallowing prescription pills, and going in and out of children's hospitals with other kids who had also engaged in self-harm. Things were so bad that he admittedly tried to end his life as a 17-year-old, quoted in a Washington Post article from 2015. However, he wanted his bad days to end, and because he could channel all the mockery and taunting and bullying into playing basketball, it gave him purpose in life. His ascendancy started when he was declared Washington Post's All-Met Boys Player of the Year in 2001 when Delonte enrolled in Eleanor Roosevelt High as a sophomore, and that was just the start of something great. His love and drive for basketball didn't go unnoticed, as a famed high school stint that was followed by an Elite Eight appearance in March Madness for St. Joseph's University Hawks. His performances led the Hawks to a formidable 30-2 record, and his exploits were now being taken note of. On the back of this success, he was selected in the 2004 draft by the Boston Celtics as the 24th pick, where he played 3 seasons in a rather injury-riddled stint. Trusted to open at point guard by Coach Doc Rivers in 2005, West averaged 11.8 points per game that season, even making it to one of the All-Star Weekend events. His 3rd season saw him make clutch shots and become a reliable player, most notably hitting a game-winning buzzer beater against the then Charlotte Bobcats and a game-tying 3 against the then New Jersey Nets. Then came a short stint in Seattle, followed by his biggest career move, joining the team of NBA's chosen one, the mighty LeBron James. While he did play just 26 games in his first season, it was the 2nd season that more or less officially started a long haul of problems that were to follow, and that was perhaps the start of his fall from grace. Delonte West suffered his first major setback in terms of declining mental health when he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2008 during the preseason with the Cavaliers. It wasn't long until it became difficult to manage, and West had to resort to medication to help himself. A reported outburst on a high school referee officiating a Cavs scrimmage had just made headlines before this incident as well, where West claimed he needed help. Respite came in the form of marriage, as Delonte married Kimberly Awad, but it was terribly short-lived, as just 2 months later, he was involved in an incident that once again made the headlines for all the wrong reasons. On September 17th, 2009, West was pulled over on his 3-wheeled Can-Am Spyder motorcycle, and it was revealed he was carrying a 9mm Beretta, a Ruger 357 Magnum, a Remington 870 shotgun shells, and a Bowie knife. His explanation was that he was helping move those weapons to a new house because they belonged to some other family members, but to this date, it remains to be seen how truthful the said statement was. West was punished with electronic monitoring, unsupervised probation, and 40 hours of community service, as well as psychological counseling. And just a month after this incident, West and his wife divorced, and he reportedly had a hard time dealing with that as well. In the middle of this chaos, we saw the most unusual rumor of them all. While competing against his former team, the Boston Celtics, in the playoffs, word began to catch fire that Delonte West was reportedly hooking up with LeBron James' mother, Gloria James. Speculation has gone so far as to say it was this rumor which caught LeBron James off guard and affected his performances in the playoff series against the Celtics, a series which the Cavs began taking a 2-1 lead, but then lost 3 straight, owed to LeBron being bothered. The aftermath was just as convoluted, because LeBron James had moved to Miami, and Delonte was sent back to the Boston Celtics in a trade to back up Rajon Rondo. He played in bits and pieces that season after a 10-game suspension at the start, and then finally signed with the Dallas Mavericks after a short, turbulent year with the Celtics, thus marking his last stint in an NBA outfit. It was in the lockout season in 2011 and 12 as well, where his tough time didn't seem to come to a peaceful halt, as West had reportedly applied at Home Depot for a job in a since then deleted tweet. Turbulent times continued at the Dallas Mavericks for Delonte West, as he was then suspended following a preseason locker room argument. While at Dallas, he was further fined $25,000 for giving a wet willy to Gordon Hayward. Dallas finally waived Delonte West, after which he called time on his NBA career and followed it up with brief stints for the Texas Legends, Fujian Zhongjing, the Los Angeles Sparks, and the Shanghai Sharks. He was finally done with basketball on being waived after a second short stint with the Texas Legends, signaling a relatively hit-and-miss career for another hyped high school or college star. Since basketball was his purpose and he was now unable to make anything of it, it had already initiated a spiral and West was at the point of no return. What began was a series of events that tragically made him a shadow of a person he was once known to be. While he did decide to marry a certain someone named Carissa Madden in 2013 and welcomed a son in 2014, family and father time didn't stop his troublesome antics, which came a short while later. Added to that, he briefly made headlines for allegedly calling out LeBron James in a social media post in late 2015, which still remains a mystery as the tweets didn't come from an officially verified account. The rumors around his alleged calling out of LeBron James, however, didn't make much sense, since he had already appreciated LeBron's impact on his life in 2 separate incidents involving LeBron and his then teammates helping him in tough times. Things, however, went from bad to worse, and then to disastrous in 2016 when Delonte was seen in a parking lot of a Jack in the Box outlet, infamously sporting a hospital gown when a fan approached him. The pictures clicked by the fan made it to Instagram, where fans offered prayers and sympathies for him, and later that year, he was seen panhandling in a viral photo, following which he went on to categorically deny homelessness rumors and defuse the said situation by saying he was rather helping a quadriplegic homeless person. And following that, a report about Delonte again went viral where he was behaving quote-unquote erratically at a strip mall, and then in another incident, he was reportedly seen yelling at kids at a youth basketball game. It was his brother who jumped to his defense, saying Delonte was not crazy and not on drugs. All in all, a terrible 2016. We then fast forward to 2020, where Delonte made headlines again for shocking reasons. A disturbing video started making the rounds online, where West was seen mumbling random things while being cuffed on the side of the road, seated, as he discusses about being approached by someone wielding a gun and then goes on a rant which was hard to understand. Before the erratic rant, it was reported that West was allegedly beaten up by someone as per video footage. Seeing this heartbreaking video, former St. Joseph's coach Phil Martelli appealed to everyone to give Delonte whatever help he needed. And speaking of help, it wasn't the first time someone had reached out. The Celtics had offered Delonte a scouting position, but his irregular attendance was a factor for it to not work out. Danny Ainge, the then Celtics GM, did wish him good luck to figure out his problems and get his life back together. And one time when Delonte was seen with a handheld cardboard sign on the freeway in 2020, it was Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban who offered to help him, and then checked him into rehab the very next day and even offered to pay for his rehab costs. Despite all that, 2021 continued to spell misfortune for Delonte as he was held once again after allegedly resisting arrest in Boynton Beach, Florida, and then a series of chances at redemption were further wasted. In 2022, there was a glimmer of hope for Delonte West as just months after being allegedly homeless, he was given the chance to participate in a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, the Big 3 League. Sadly, Delonte was a no-show and didn't even turn up for the league's draft. Instead, he was seen loitering around a 7-Eleven convenience store and even allegedly accepted some cash from passers-by. Another glimmer of hope came in the form of him getting employed by a flooring company, where his struggle and road to recovery was also discussed on Good Morning America in July, but even that didn't last long. A few months later, he was arrested twice in 2 weeks on October 15th and then again on October 29th for 2 separate incidents. And for the latter, it was reported that when the cops tried to put him in handcuffs, West reportedly took off running. On both occasions, he was found drunk in public, and for the latter, he was charged with illegally trying to enter another person's vehicle. Not much is known about where Delonte West is after these incidents. Various NBA players, coaches, and league officials have wished him well and have appealed to help him out. But it remains to be seen how much of that help reaches him and how much of it does he take up to get his life back together. It's sad to see another promising NBA career go to waste, and one can only wonder what could have been had Delonte made something of his talent, skills, and life. Wherever he is, we sure hope he finds his way back.